A day after the finance minister presented Budget 2021, the headlines were ecstatic, many of them claiming that the government has spent and spent big. This is, of course, echoing the government's own claims that they have broken all spending caps in this budget as the government tries to spend its way out of the hole into which the economy had fallen because of the coronavirus. But do the numbers really measure up when one looks at the fine print? What does it exactly mean? We'll get into that in a second, but just listen once again to the finance minister's claim shortly after the budget when she said that we have spent and spent.
We have also increased the spending in the forthcoming year. As a result, borrowing increased. Our fiscal deficit, which started at 3.5 during February 2020, has gone to 9.5% of the GDP. So we have spent, and we have spent.
So the finance minister is saying that our fiscal deficit, which is the gap between how much we earn and how much we spend, has shot up to almost 9% because of the fact that we have spent. But really, have we? And where has the money gone? Now, my colleague Mariam Alavi has been crunching the numbers and looking at exactly what has happened. And Mariam, let's start with the basic amount that the extra spending, which the government has said, the increased spending that they're doing on what is called capital expenditure, which is what the government spends on roads and highways and all of that. How much has that actually gone up?
Yes, Vasu, so like we just heard the finance minister, she has been claiming that they have spent their way, or they're trying to spend their way out of the pandemic. And it is in fact true. We have increased our expenditure for the year. We are expected to spend about rupees 4 lakh more. But where are we spending more? Our capital expenditure, which is what we spend on roads, infrastructure, etc., is up by only about rupees 1 lakh crore. The bigger spike of about rupees 3 lakh crore is in what we call the revenue expenditure, which is the government's regular operating expenses, including salaries, etc. So essentially of the increased 4 lakh crore expenses that we're expecting this year, 3 lakh crore are going to be revenue expenditure and only about 1 lakh crore is going to be under capital expenditure. Right,
1 lakh crore in itself not being a very big amount for a country of the size or economy of the size of India. Also, Mariam, the other interesting thing that many people have been pointing out is that even this huge additional amount which is reflecting in our books that we are spending 4 lakh crore more compared to what we had budgeted is largely because of the fact that we've become more transparent in our accounting practices, that we're actually now putting on the record money which earlier we wouldn't, now we are, and that's really what's pushing it up.
Yes, so what the government has now done is that they've reversed the practice of what we would call outsourcing of the food subsidy costs. What the government used to earlier do was ask the Food Corporation of India, the FCI, to borrow or take loans from the National Small Savings Fund to fund these food subsidies. So this would keep it out of the government's books and hence also help maintain them better physical health, at least on paper. But now what the finance minister had said this budget is that they will discontinue this practice and that they will start paying directly for the food subsidy, and that they've made the necessary changes to the revised estimates for the current year and also the budget estimates for the next year. So now what this has done is that by paying up those loans and not taking loans and actually putting it on the government's book, what this has done is we've seen a spike of rupees 3.1 lakh crore in government spending. So this amounts for about 75% of our total increased expenditure just by cleaning up our accounting practices.